Steven Spielberg, I find quite confused.
I think it's a privilege to call yourself and it's something that you have to earn.
I find him to be, unfortunately, not as good at remembering the time that we spent together.
I think what Steven Spielberg did, and Scott Frank also, is he knows it's there.
And he talked more about his personal life. I know more about, him and his life.
Surprised when you saw all these accusations of in Hollywood?
Was I surprised? I wasn't.
Newly released court documents relating to the Jeffrey Epstein. They include associates, friends, and alleged victims of the disgraced billionaire who died in jail 5 years ago.
I know more about, him and his life and Amy Irving and what have you than I probably said about my own.
It wasn't what she wanted to do in the end. And I think it took a lot of courage in amongst all of that other stuff to be able to say, I can't do it.
Steven Spielberg, I find quite confused in his recollection of me.
I'm not even going to talk about Spielberg. Steven Spielberg is
I get really inspired to paint portraiture, I would say, is my very favorite.
Yeah, when he wanted to get into jacuzzi, I knew I was in trouble. Like, wait, this is not what he's supposed to be doing.
I found when I was a 16-year-old, fresh from boarding school, going out into, on the casting couch, I was definitely objectified to an extreme. And the director asked me to sit with my legs apart. The camera was right between, positioned where it could see up my skirt. Or used to show that video late at night to interested parties at his house. It's not about the person that's been It's not just their role to say enough. It's about the people around. How much are the people that witness, how much are they perpetrators of the crime?
I mean, there's protections for animals, in filming. I think there need to be protections legally put in place to protect people when they're filming, human beings.
Spielberg lived down the street from me, and I would often go and have dinner, just he and I, Yeah, as one does, But I knew him since basically, I was a kid also, and I lived down the street, and we would go and, talk about movies. And I remember one night I went over, and there was Brian De Palma. And so we had dinner, 3 of us had dinner in his place up the street. And we were just talking about movies, and there was Brian, and I'd seen all of his films, and I went home that night. Mission was on my mind. I was actually preparing also. I was prepping Interview with the Vampire at that time, and working on a few other things. And I went home that night, and I stayed up for about 14 hours, and I just got all of his De Palma's movies, and I restudied all of his.
Talking about Carrie, Blowout, Dress to Kill.
Untouchables.
Okay,
and I just went, oh my gosh, he's got to direct Mission Impossible.
Is it true that you saved the movie business? Steven Spielberg said you did.
First of all, it was wonderful because I haven't, it's been COVID, so I haven't been able to see my friends for many, many years, and I've been shooting, so.
But they weren't that excited to see their other friends. They were excited to see you. I feel like the only people that get that reaction is Santa and maybe Oprah and Beyonce and Tom Cruise. I mean, that's it.
He goes, I just booked a movie with Tom Cruise, Steven Spielberg, and I was like, what? And he goes, it's called Minority Report. He was like, dude, I'm going to be gone for 2 months. And back then, you have to understand, that's the biggest thing on.
After this movie, Spielberg said he'd never work with Julia Roberts again. It all happened during the filming of the 1991 movie Hook, where Roberts played Tinkerbell and Robin Williams starred as Peter Banning. The set was notorious for conflicts, and Roberts was rumored to be called Tinkerhell. Roberts admitted to clashes on set, but denied hearing the nickname. Spielberg also mentioned it was a tough time for them to work together. This tension has since affected their professional relationship, making future collaborations unlikely.
Spielberg noticed that Roberts' rocky relationship with Kiefer was affecting her work attitude, and he didn't hold back in a 60 Minutes interview. It was not a great time for Julia and I to be working together, Spielberg admitted. Roberts was deeply hurt by Spielberg's comments. She had confided in him during the shoot and tried her best to stay professional, so his remarks felt like a betrayal. In a Vanity Fair interview, Roberts slammed Spielberg for not standing up for her against accusations of being difficult to work with. She called him a turncoat, saying, "I saw that and my eyes popped out of my head. I couldn't believe that this person I trusted was hesitating to defend me." Now, with their fiery history, it was only a matter of time before someone asked Julia Roberts what she thought about Steven Spielberg's name popping up on the Epstein list. And Roberts didn't hold back. When asked, she suggested that Spielberg might have some dark and unsettling interests that were even creepier than the stuff in his films.
Steven Spielberg is currently under fire due to a comment he made about the series Squid Game. And he brought this up in a new interview, saying he watched the series on Netflix and was praising the show. But then he said something which bothered a lot of people, and that was that he was glad they picked a cast of unknown actors. But where he was mistaken was the show Squid Game actually had a lot of big-name actors. Like Lee Jung-jae, who has dozens of credits to his name, was the lead actor in the series and is arguably the biggest actor in South Korea. Ho Young-jung, who's actually a huge model internationally, who is famous for dyeing her hair red and is model for major brands like Louis Vuitton and many more. Or Oh Young-soo, who's been acting since 1967 and has done over 100 roles in his career. While Steven Spielberg has never heard of these guys, he has to realize there is entertainment outside of America. For while the US seems like the capital of entertainment, 65% of Netflix subscribers come from outside the US and Canada. And when it comes to which country makes the most movies, America only comes in 5th place, with India having almost 4 times as many movies. And to be clear, Steven Spielberg is an amazing guy, and this was clearly just a slip of the tongue, which everybody has. You should use this to remember that great actors exist throughout the entire world and aren't just confined to the US and Europe.
Hey Spice Pop TV fam! Today we're diving deep into a shocking Hollywood story involving some of the biggest names in the industry. We're talking about a hidden feud, disturbing revelations, and how a tight friendship unraveled. From Steven Spielberg's alleged dark secrets to Tom Cruise's infamous fallout and Julia Roberts' surprising involvement, let's get into the juicy details. For years, Steven Spielberg has been Hollywood's golden director, but new information might change everything you thought you knew about him. Tom Cruise, once Spielberg's close collaborator, has hinted at deep rifts in their relationship, dating back to the early 2000s when Cruise's passion for Scientology began to overshadow his career. Spielberg, who directed Cruise in blockbusters like Minority Report and War of the Worlds, reportedly felt that Cruise's controversial actions were costing their film millions at the box office. Remember when Tom Cruise jumped on Oprah's couch to profess his love for Katie Holmes? What seemed like a quirky, love-struck moment actually led to serious professional repercussions. Cruise's outspoken stance on Scientology and his public feud with psychiatry didn't just spark controversy, it infuriated Spielberg, who blamed Cruise for negative press affecting their film's success. The tension reached a boiling point when Cruise's ties to Scientology were believed to have directly influenced Spielberg's personal life, leading to a fallout that lasted years. But the drama doesn't stop there. Julia Roberts, another Hollywood icon, has recently reignited her feud with Spielberg. The tension between these two dates back to the filming of Hook in the late 80s, where Spielberg openly criticized Roberts' professionalism. Their relationship soured further after the release of documents linked to Jeffrey Epstein, where Spielberg's name appeared among other big Hollywood names. Roberts didn't shy away from stoking the fire, subtly suggesting that Spielberg's interests might be darker than his blockbuster films let on. Rumors surrounding Spielberg's connection to Jeffrey Epstein have been swirling since a list of Epstein's associates was released. While the internet was divided over Spielberg's involvement, the issue was largely swept under the rug. Until now, Julia Roberts has brought it back into the spotlight, hinting that there might be more to Spielberg's past than we know. Combined with unsettling documents from the Indiana Jones films, Spielberg's reputation could be under serious threat. Fans are shocked by these revelations, with many questioning Spielberg's behavior over the years, especially in light of his long friendship with Roman Polanski, who has his own troubling history. The connections between these Hollywood giants and the dark secrets they might be hiding have left many wondering just how deep the rabbit hole goes. So, what do you think about these explosive revelations? Is Spielberg's golden image tarnishing before our eyes, or is this all just Hollywood drama blown out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the latest celebrity scandals. Thanks for watching Spice Pop TV. See you in the next one.